Hi, everybody. It's Tamara Rubin here, Lead Safe Mama. I've got the headphones on if I look funny, so because I have to use them with my broken old computer to make it work. If you can hear me, please let me know so that I know this is working properly. I am trying to do a regular daily little, I don't know what you call this, a video blog thing, and show you some things that I have on my agenda because I thought that way I could get through some of these things a little bit faster and get information out to people. Again, my name's Tamara Rubin. My blog is leadsafemama, leadsafemama.com. And I encourage everyone when they have a question about whether or not something has lead to look it up on my blog first. So go to leadsafemama.com or tamararubin.com and use the search bar and put in the keywords like mug or Starbucks, you know, the brand name, things like that. So I don't know who's watching me, but can you hear me? Can you comment to let me know if you can hear me? So I have a few things I want to show you today, things that I've come across in my travels that I'm going to be blogging about but haven't had the time to yet. This is one of my favorite ones. I really like this. Wait, let me see if you can see this okay. Pretty cool. It's a Harry and Meghan mug. I follow the royals pretty closely for fun and also because they have babies and they live in an old lead painted house. And I really want them to get this message and see and understand the impact of lead exposure on children. So I thought it would be fun to do the blog post about this, which is a very high lead cup, which has their picture on it. I don't know if it's official or not. Let's see, it says Royal Heritage. I can't tell if that's like any kind of official or if it's just some thing that someone got in a souvenir shop. But I do have a few other posts where I've tried to get their attention on Instagram and elsewhere because I thought, wow, if the royals could see how this impacts their home and their lives and their families, then they would make this a priority in England, and that could really impact how we handle things in the United States. So that's one thing that I have coming up. Another thing that I got from a reader, this is so heavy. Apparently, there's a thing where people have dishes that they stole from college and they held on to them as a souvenir. So this is a bowl, a giant like cereal bowl, salad bowl from the school cafeteria from a college of the husband of one of the families where I visited. And if you can hear me, can you comment that you can hear me so I know, because I can't tell whether or not you can hear me. Anyway, so this is a Syracuse bowl. You can see this, and this is super high lead, and it seems innocuous because it's white. People have this misunderstanding, misconception that white things are going to be lead free. This is super high lead, and it's in the shiny part of the blade. It's like they applied, you know, this is not really an analogy, but it's kind of like this. It's like they applied leaded crystal to the outside of the dish to make it shiny, and that's why it's shiny. It's melted lead, and it does get into the food and can poison people. So you have to be careful. This brand, Syracuse, is always very high lead and is super dangerous, and I would never eat off it. Another thing I wanted to show you today is this is the Mikasa plate that was used by a little boy. So I guess the theme today is white china. I posted about a crystal cup, and I said I was going to post soon about the plates that he was using every day. Well, this is the plate that he was using every day. It has kind of a silvery edge, and this was again also super high lead and was a likely source of poisoning for a little boy in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area. And so I'm going to be posting about this. So just because it's newer, like in the last 20 years, and it's a brand that you think you trust, like Mikasa, doesn't mean it's safe, and people need to understand that. Also, just because it's white doesn't mean it's safe. So another thing I wanted to share with you today was these. I thought this was interesting. It's really hard to tell colors on the internet, but I thought you can kind of see, this is almost more peach, and this is a more darker orange. I hadn't seen this peach color before, and both of these are high intoxicants. These are vintage Tupperware, probably from the 80s. And people ask me, hey, what's a vintage? Well, vintage means anything 20 years old or older. So I'm vintage. I think I'm actually antique now because today's my birthday. I'm 50, and I think that means I'm antique. Anyway, so this vintage Tupperware, maybe it's from the 80s, maybe it's from the 90s. I've seen lead, cadmium, mercury, and arsenic in plastics as late as the 90s. And I don't know that I've actually seen any plastics from the 2000s or later that had toxicants embedded in the plastics as part of the colorant. So definitely avoid vintage plastic. The other thing about these vintage Tupperware pieces is that they have BPA. So regardless of whether or not your particular piece has lead, cadmium, mercury, and arsenic and causes cancer or neurological damage, it might have BPA, which is an endocrine disruptor. And the Tupperware company has admitted that their products do have BPA and that they took the BPA out, I believe, in 2010. So any pre-2010 Tupperware should be not used, should be discarded, regardless of whether or not it has toxic heavy metals in it. And I do have a petition up for change.org to ask Tupperware to respond to these findings. They still haven't responded, so I'm going to post that link in the comments here and up with the video, and I'd love to get a few more signatures. We're almost to 1,000 signatures, and I think that once we get 1,000 signatures on that, we might likely have I get some news coverage of the issue. So there's one more thing. I'm trying to do these videos shortly, make short videos so that people actually watch them. This makes me sad. This is KitchenAid, and KitchenAid is more on my no-fly list. I have a few companies that are on my no-fly list, like, Syracuse is on my no-fly list, and Mikasa may have lead-free things, but Mikasa is on my no-fly list because they have so many leaded things. And obviously Tupperware is on my no-fly list. Like, I wouldn't buy stuff from them regardless of whether or not they have safe products, because they haven't taken responsibility for the unsafe products. But this right here, KitchenAid, they're practically evil. See how the paint is wearing off of this? Now, these are all high lead. These all are positive for lead at levels above 90 parts per million, usually in the 1,500 to 2,000 parts per million range, sometimes in the 300 or 400. And I don't know for sure if there's any lead in the coating and at what age there's lead in the coating versus the substrate, but I do believe it's in the substrate because I've tested these burnished ones, or it was a look that they did, and the burnished ones were leaving black marks in people's cookie dough. And then I tested them and they were super high lead. And so I have a feeling that it's possible on some of the newer ones that the lead is actually in the metal, not in the coating. But the fact of the matter is the coating wears off, and they sell a whole line of uncoated ones. Luckily, and I think possibly because of the pressure put on them by my readers, they have recently come out with a stainless steel set, and the stainless steel set is, wait for it, lead-free. Yay! I was really concerned because with a lot of the vintage ones, not even vintage, even the new ones, the top knot on the stainless steel whisk is still leaded. So I wanted to test the new stainless steel ones to make sure that the top knot was also not leaded. And I did, and they were lead-free throughout. So now I can recommend those. And I'm going to be sharing a link. I'll put an affiliate link with this video so you can see that and take a look. They're about $75, and I don't know if they sell them at Amazon, but they were selling them at Williams-Sonoma. Williams-Sonoma's also on my no-fly list. I don't generally recommend the KitchenAid products because they have so many products that have tested positive for lead. They had a silicone spatula. Their pots and pans have tested positive for lead over the years. And it's just not worth supporting a company that'll do this. But everyone has one of these stand mixers in their home. So it's hard to say, oh, well, boycott that product when you have the stand mixer that was your grandmother's, or you got, like mine, I got in 1994 or 93 when I married my ex-husband. He bought it as an engagement present for me, I think, and I still have it. So it's a million years old, and there is no lead in the actual stand. There's only lead in the part that touches the food. Oh boy. Okay. Thanks for being here. I'm going to head out now. My name's Tamara Rubin, Lead Safe Mama, leadsafemama.com. TamaraRubin.com goes to the same place. And it's my birthday. So one thing you can do for my birthday today is share my posts, share my videos, share my links, because I really want the word to get out there and more people to learn about this concern for lead. I don't really have a huge concern for lead in dishes in most cases, with the exception of the dishes I showed earlier. I have a greater concern for lead in paint and dust and paint in your homes. But if the lead concern in dishware is going to convince folks to get their children tested because they have definite exposure sources in their home, then they might be inclined to also test their home, and that is a bigger challenge. Devin just asked me, does silicone test positive for lead? And yes, apparently if it's from KitchenAid, it can. I have a yellow silicone spatula on the blog that's a KitchenAid piece that tested really high lead. And I also tested a newer red one of the same model, and it was trace lead, very low lead. And So it's rare that silicone tests positive for lead, and that's the one reason I really don't like KitchenAid. Thank you for being here, and talk to you later. I'm going to try and do these every day, and I appreciate that you took the time to watch my video. Tamara Rubin, Lead Safe Mama. Talk to you later.